Am I the asshole for not letting my kids spend the night at their grandparents' house after a disturbing incident with my husband's sister? I don't. One thing about me, I don't play with sleepovers. I don't care who it is. My kids are going to sleep in our house. They may grow up and growing up, my kids may hate me for it. I'm fine with it. My kids don't do sleepovers. Grandparents' house, yes, maybe. My kids' grandparents, oh yes, definitely. But sleepovers in general, I know people be like, oh my God, the child can't live their childhood. Let me tell you something. I'd rather be safe than sorry. Plus, my especially my daughter, she's particular. She'll tell you, were you sleeping over? No, I'm going home to sleep in my bed. And she's 5. She don't play that. She'll be like, I'm going home to sleep in my bed. Okay? But we shall see. My husband and I have 2 kids, a 6-year-old and a 12-year-old. Recently, they were visiting my husband's parents. We'll call them John and Lisa. And during the visit, my husband's sister, Sarah, who lives with them, had a major meltdown. Sarah, who's in her early 30s, has a master's degree, used to have a good job, but struggles with severe mental health issues. She can barely function on a day-to-day basis, doesn't leave the house, and can't do basic things for herself. Her parents, who are in their mid-60s, literally do everything for her. She hasn't been able to hold a job and relies completely on them for daily support. During the visit, Sarah got into a huge argument with John and Lisa, which escalated into a 30-minute yelling spree. She made some disturbing comments, including saying she'd unalive herself after they die. After the argument, she stormed off to the basement and started smashing things. My kids overheard the entire meltdown, including the yelling and the sounds of things breaking. After that incident, Sarah texted my husband saying that she didn't want our kids coming over anymore because even she understands how unwell she is mentally and emotionally. She flat out told my husband she is suicidal. Y'all need to get her some help. Like, she's crying out for help. If she is not able to function on a daily basis, but she was able to be sane enough to reach out to the husband to say, hey, I am not mentally and emotionally well, and I am suicidal. Don't have your kids come back over here. You best believe my kids will not step foot back in that house. Now or forever, as long as you're still alive. Mother-in-law thinks it's not her place to decide that because it's not her house. I don't care. I understand she wants to see her grandkids, but I'm not bringing my kids over there when you have somebody that is telling me she wants to unalive herself. She's telling me to keep my kids safe. So no, Grandma. Absolutely not. Given sister-in-law's request and the distressing experience they overheard, I feel strongly that it's not a safe environment for them right now. But when I brought this up to my husband, he thought I was overreacting and doesn't see an issue with them continuing to visit. He thinks Sarah was just venting and doesn't feel that it's a real threat to their well-being. Absolutely not. When I tell you something like this, I would divorce my husband over. People throw on the word divorce. If Sarah, who is the person that wants to unalive herself, is calling to say, I am not mentally well, I am not emotionally well, I have these type of thoughts. Do not send your kids over there. And he's going to say, well, she was just venting. Sir, my kids would not step foot back at your mother's house, point blank, period. And if I ever hear you think you're going to bring my kids over there, I will divorce your ass so freaking fast. To complicate things, Lisa recently invited our kids over for a slumber party this weekend and suggested they spend the night. I know she wants family time, but I feel very uncomfortable letting them go, especially with Sarah's recent behavior. My main concern is our kids' safety and emotional well-being. I feel they shouldn't be around someone who might make disturbing comments or have violent outbursts. If she's having them type of mental situations, I feel at any point in time she could probably turn on my kids, and that's why she's saying, do not bring your kids over here. Rather than argue with my husband to have this conversation with his parents like I normally would, I decided to text his mom saying they can spend as much time as they wanted with our kids as long as it isn't at their house. I haven't even told my husband I texted her either. He can deal with the fallout I'm sure is to come. So am I the asshole for wanting to keep them home and not letting them spend the night, even if it means they miss a family event? Or am I being too overprotective? Parents could never be too overprotective. I am so sorry. If my responsibility, one of my main responsibilities in life is to take care of my children, feed, clothe, and protect them. I have a situation where they could possibly be in harm's way, and all the grown adults that have have peanuts for brains is over here talking about, oh, you're just overreacting, she's just venting. And then they go over there and then sleep over. And then God forbid a situation happens. And it's like, oh my God, I never thought she would have actually went through with doing something like this. In the Caribbean household that I grew up in, one thing my parents always said, prevent is better than cure. My kids would not be going over there, point blank, period. Update. The text that I sent to my mother-in-law. I wanted to talk to you about something that's been on my mind since Sarah's recent incident. And considering that she herself mentioned that she didn't want the kids there, I'm feeling hesitant about having them over and spending the night when she's around. I understand it's your home, but I also know it's hard to control Sarah's actions. I'm just trying to make sure the kids are in a calm and safe environment. I'd love for you and John to spend as much time with them as you want outside the house. Thanks for understanding. Update number 2. It's been 16 hours and still no response to the text I sent to mother-in-law. This is normal, as when I have sent confrontational texts in the past, I don't get a response. Next update. I showed this to my husband and he feels a clarification is necessary. Sister-in-law didn't directly say not to have the kids come to their house, but said, I feel like such a worthless piece of SHIT, if it's ever a question whether it's 50-50 they come visit you or you guys come here, can you do me a favor and go to your place? Basically asking that the grandparents come to our house instead. Why is that so hard? Why is that so hard? Keep them safe. Keep them safe. If she's herself saying, it's better. I can't control my emotions. It's better for you to have the kids, grandparents go to your house. Grandma comes over to our house. The kids are in their comfortable environment. Me personally would not be putting my kids in no harm's way. This right here, when I tell you I would die in a hill with, I'm thankful that my husband, we are both on the same page when it comes to our children. Because if I say our kids ain't going, mother or not, they not going. My husband says, hey, babe, the kids ain't going. Them kids ain't going. Because at the end of the day, God forbid something happens, I have to live with that on my conscience. He has to live with that on his conscience. So, baby, I'm going to try to get through this last update. It's pretty long, so I may have to come back for part 2. So, here's the message I sent to my mother-in-law. She later called cruel. Okay, we went through that part. She wanted to talk about Sarah. Thanks for understanding. So after sending this, I hoped it would open up a respectful dialogue, but she never responded to me directly. Instead, she called my husband. She said my text was cruel, claimed it left her shocked and heartbroken, saying that she didn't sleep and it was the worst night of her life after reading it. Then launched into a list of grievances about me that went back 2 years. According to her, I've been disrespectful in the past and she often turns the other cheek. The whole conversation turned into a pity party with her trying to get sympathy from my husband and making me out to be this horrible person who's unfair to her and father-in-law. She says that she has built her life around her kids and their house is built around their grandchildren. Not once did she say she understood where we're just trying to protect our children or see it from our point of view. The worst part, I was honestly trying to communicate like an adult about something I thought was reasonable and in the best interest of my kids. I feel like I'm being punished for setting a normal and healthy boundary. However, I do want to thank everyone here who offered advice on my last post. After reading a lot of the comments, my husband realized he's become desensitized to his sister and how truly harmful it can be to let our kids be exposed to that kind of trauma from another adult's severe mental health issues. Come back for the rest of part 2.